All right, hello there and welcome. My name is Shauna. This is our Fit Essentials Basics class. We are here in Apache Junction, Arizona. Grateful for some shade and some cooler temperatures. And we're going to go ahead and come up to standing to start. So when you're ready, go ahead and make your way up to standing. Anyone that's using the blood flow bands, we've already added air. So just go ahead. If you're on a recording and need to press pause for that, you can do that. We're going to start with our standing cat-cow. So go ahead and walk those feet in so your toes are pointing forward. And we want those feet to be just underneath those hips. Draw the stomach in, hands on the thighs. You're going to send your hips back. Bring your hands down to just above the knees. And then from here, we're going to breathe in as we round through the spine. Draw that chin into the chest. And then we're going to exhale in a nice soft round. So Diane, bring those hands up to the knees just a little bit more. There you go. So keep the hands in one spot. We're doing our standing cat-cows there. Breathing in, rounding, chin in. Breathing out, soft arch, shoulders back and down. Welcome, Christina. We just got moving. A couple more times. Nice deep breaths in the nose and out the mouth. Good. On the next inhale, push through the feet. Go ahead and come on up to standing. Walk those feet just a little bit wider. And now we're going to move into our tree branch arms. Rotating through the head and neck. And make sure you keep a nice soft bend through those knees. When you're ready, start to let those elbows bend a little bit. See if you can tap your hands against the front of the body and back of the body. And look to sync that tapping with your exhale. So as you exhale, tap. Excellent. Take about 20 more seconds here. Just getting some good circulation through your spinal column, opening through the hips, little rotation through that head and neck. Wonderful. And then let's go ahead and bring the arms back away from the body. And then nice and slow, we'll bring it down to a stop. Excellent. From here, readjust the feet as needed. Hip circles next. Hands up on the hips. Go ahead and circle through. Very nice. And then rotate the other way. Fantastic. All right, we're going to work just a little bit of balance work next. If you want to stand near a wall, near a door, anything to kind of hold on to, back of the chair. And then when you're ready, anchor one foot down, lift everything up and in, squeeze those shoulders back, and we're going to work our ankle rolls as we practice our balance. So pushing that toe down, rotating through that ankle. When you're ready, go ahead and rotate that foot the other way. Hi, Bennett. Nice to see you. And then when you're ready, go ahead and place that foot down. In between sides, instead of circling the hips, we're going to rock those hips side to side. Very nice. And then we'll inch those feet back in, and then ankle rolls on the opposite leg. So root down to that foot, lift on up like you're trying to draw yourself up towards the sky. And now rolling through that second foot. Squeeze those shoulders back, turn your palms forward. Good, and turn it the other way. And go ahead and rest. Fantastic. All right, from here, we're going to move right into our first circuit. Bring those arms up to the side, make a little fist with those hands. And we're going to be working our paused march. So some balance work continued as you lift one knee, lift the opposite hand. And then just for this first round, imagine you're like kind of moving slow motion. So working on that opposite hand, raising up with that opposite foot. Really push that big toe down on that support foot. Helps engage the arch of the foot, helps have a nice strong foundation. About one more step on each side. Arms moving. And resting there. Good. From here, now we're going to work a little bit of good mornings. So our hinging motion at the hips. Go ahead and take your arms, spread them out wide, and then we're going to cross them over the opposite shoulder. Feet are in, just underneath those hips. Toes are pointing forward. Draw your stomach in, and then with a little baby bend in those knees, you're going to bow forward, raising your arms up, sending your hips back, and then try to turn your head down so you look right between your arms. When you're ready, push through the feet. Squeeze the glutes, rest those arms against the chest as you stand tall. Yep, and then we're gonna do it a few more times. Breathing in, belly draws in, hips push back, head bows down. You raise those arms up. Very good. And then squeeze and stand at the top. Excellent. Diane, bring your feet just a little bit closer. Toes forward. There we go. Breathing in, arms up, hips back. Feel those hamstrings a bit if you feel a little tight there. And then standing all the way up. And go ahead and rest. Good job. From there, we're going to get back to some side steps. Not back to, we're going to get back to some moving and grooving here. Up and overhead, stepping out to the side. This is our basics class, so we don't do a lot of jumping here at all. But if you do want to do a jump jack instead, you're welcome to it. Otherwise, breathe. Tap your index fingers together in front of your belly and right up overhead. Excellent. Side to side. 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Toe touch stretches next. So similar position to that good morning. Feet walk back in. Toes are still pointing forward. And then take a moment here. What's happened at the hips? Are your hips rolling forward? Can you rock those hips back? Draw the stomach in a bit more to stay nice and neutral. From here, hands come to the thighs. Keep that baby bend the knees. We're going to bow the head down and then slowly slide the hands down the thighs. Staying strong through those legs, staying strong in your stomach, and just reaching for those toes. And then once you get down to where you feel a little bit of stretch, push the feet, stand all the way back up. We're going to do it 3 times. So as you stand up, breathing in, nice and long, chin bows down, sliding back down. Sometimes your body will reach a little bit farther on the second time through, so continue to slide down. And then when you're ready, we'll slide back up, squeeze the tush, pull the shoulders back. And then our third and final time, chin down, belly drawn in, slide on down. And come back up. Fantastic. After you finish that last toe touch, we're going to go back to a little bit wider base stance. And now we're going to do our side stretch or our apple picking stretch. So reaching and starting in front of the body, reaching up and across, and then we'll move our way into a more traditional side stretch. We get a little bit more of like the lats, as you can imagine, trying to like reach deep into those tree branches. Grab the apple, pull it back. Good. And if you can go right up to overhead, won't worry about the apples for a moment, but instead we'll just reach up to overhead. If you feel stable in your legs and you can turn your head and peer up to that hand. Breathing as you move. Let's get about 1 or 2 more on each side. And resting there. Good. Let's grab a short drink and then we're going to go back to the top with a little bit of variation on our second time through. Alrighty. About 15 seconds till we start our second round. And now in the second round, we did our paused march on round 1. On round 2, we're going to move into that march and punch at a little bit faster tempo. So we'll go ahead and get this started here. When you're ready, only bring your knee up as high as you feel comfortable. Breathing out with that punch of the arm. We're going to work this for just over another 20 seconds. Hands up nice and high, giving that cross body reach with the hands, but keeping your lower body nice and stationary. I know I'm a little bit in the shadows today, so hopefully you can see my silhouette okay. Less than 10 seconds. 2, 1, and pausing there. All right. Last time we worked our good morning, now we're going to work our windmill. So for the windmill, we're going to inch those feet nice and wide outside the hips. Root down into those legs, establish that soft bend in the knees, draw that belly in, breathing in, splay your arms nice and wide. And now when you're ready, you're gonna breathe out, sending those hips back. The breathing doesn't matter as much. Actually, you're gonna really, I think I like to actually breathe in as I lower down, breathe out as I stand tall. That will get it. Alternating sides. Squeeze those shoulders back, engage those glutes, standing up nice and tall. Breathing in as you reach down, breathing out as you stand up. 1 or 2 more each side. Balance yourself out from side to side. When you finish there, walk the feet back in. And then same as we did on round 1, we're going to go back to our step jacks on round 2. Index fingers touch in front of the body. A little side to side step here. If you're feeling a little bit tired through the legs or your coordination's not quite where you want it to be today, then just circle the arms. Arms in front, arms up to overhead. If the legs are moving and grooving and you're feeling strong there, then just keep That little side step going. Couple more. And 2, 1, and shake it out. Whew. Arms are burning a bit on my end. All right, last time we did the toe touch, but now we're gonna open up our inner thighs. For this one, we're gonna walk those feet outside the hips. Similar to that, how we started. Draw the belly in. I want you to bow forward, kind of push your hands down onto the knees, nice straight arms. And now we're gonna push our hand into one thigh or into one knee as you turn your body, look over that opposite shoulder. Breathing in as you come back to center, nice straight arms, breathing out. Use the hand to push that knee wide, keeping your feet nice and anchored. Stomach draws in. Breathing in, back to the center, breathing out, turning to one side and then the other. Good motion through that head and neck. Turning that head and neck, seeing over that shoulder as far as you can. Good, balance yourself out. And then when you're ready, return to standing. Good. And a new version of the side stretch for this last round. We're gonna do a stagger stance side stretch. So take your left leg, step it back behind you, keeping your feet hip width apart. Go ahead and rock back onto that heel. And now we're gonna take the left arm, start with the hand at the shoulder, get a little rock in those hips, front knee, a little bit of a bend. And now with those hips rock forward, we're gonna reach up and over the body, peering up that hand if you feel stable to. Breathing in, coming back down, leaning towards that side, and then breathing out, still trying to squeeze the hip of that trail leg as you stretch up. Wonderful. Breathing in, lowering on down. Breathing out, lengthen through that body, peer up to that hand, and rest. Good job. Switching sides. Now the left foot steps in, the right foot steps back. Hand up to the shoulder to start. And then here we go. Breathing in, breathing out. Trying to push that back hip forward too. Just get a little opening on the front of that hip. Good. And resting there. All right, let's go ahead and take a seat for a second. Join me in the chair. I'm a little bit off to the side here. I've got my puppy dog is just made himself comfortable in the middle of the mat. So while he's sleeping quietly, we'll stick with that. All right, we're gonna do our mid-back rotations next, everyone. So as you come to seated, sit up nice and tall. Go ahead and take your left hand behind the head. Focus to pull that elbow back behind you, and then right hand on the right knee, breathing in, bow forward, bring that left elbow towards that right thigh, and then sit tall. Go ahead and use your right hand to push against your right knee as you turn and look over that shoulder. Breathing in, bowing forward. Breathing out, rotating through. Good, 3 more times. Just gonna see how you're looking down. Excellent, turn, good. Christina, make sure you lift your head and neck and look with those eyes as well. So you're trying to like follow that left elbow with your eyes. There you go, that's where you get the most out of that movement. After about 5 times on that side, go ahead and switch sides, same thing the other direction, coming forward. And then we really get the benefit if you pause in that back position, because that's where you're kind of feels like you're wringing out your torso like a towel, right? Like getting that rotation through your mid back, pulling that elbow back, breathing out. About 5 times on this side. Eyes follow that elbow, that movement through the head and neck. Fantastic. All right, when you finish both sides there, we do one more stretch from seated and then we're coming back up. So hands on the thighs, we're gonna do our seated toe touch. Sliding on down, chin to the chest, and then reaching down for the toes, bow the head down, and now try to send your breath into the back side of that rib cage, like deep into the bottom of the rib cage, breathing in. And on the exhale, breathing out. See if your body wants to lower down a little bit more. One more breath. In and out. Good job. On your next inhale, walk your hands up, coming back up to seated, and then back up to standing. All right, friends, we're getting ready for some deadlifting. So simply picking an object off the ground, as well as working some elevated push-ups and elevated mountain climbers with some squatting work as well. So we got a whole little series. Oh, the last exercise of this upcoming circuit, if you have any long bands to use, we're going to be doing a seated row. I'm going to demo from the chair. If anybody wants to sit down on the ground, you're welcome to do that as well. Otherwise, we're going to start first with the deadlift. We did a lot of hinging motions in our warm-up, so we're not going to do a really long warm-up here. Instead, a light to moderate weight, you're going to pick it up. If you have a dumbbell, try to hold it by the head of the dumbbell, and then you're going to set it down right between the feet. Kettlebell works as well, any kind of object, laundry detergent, what have you. From here, without my weight, I'm going to inch my feet out, so I have a nice wide base for my legs. Little mini bend in the knees, and now check in with that pelvis and your rib cage. So are your hips forward, pull the belly in, rock those hips back so you stay nice and neutral to that lower spine. And then when you're ready, we're going to bow down, send the hips back, push the knees out, grab your weight. And then when you're ready from there, we're going to push into the ground, squeeze the glutes, standing up nice and tall. Good. Breathing in as you lower down, and then breathing out as you stand. Excellent. Christina, if you're able to turn sideways to the camera, then I can just see that position of your spine a little bit better. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out, squeeze those shoulders back, stand up tall. Excellent. Thank you. Down and up. Good. Couple more. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out, looking straight ahead as you stand up. Final time. Down, up, and rest. All right. Use those same mechanics as you set your weight down. And now second exercise is our push-up. So, trust that railing. I'm going to be using this chair. Okay, make sure you have a stable surface. You could use the back of a couch. You could also use a wall, lowering down and up. Draw the stomach in, place one hand underneath each shoulder, walking the feet back. And then when you're ready, you can either hold this top of the plank, or if you feel strong to work that push-up, I'm going to come a little bit closer to talk about it. You're going to draw those elbows back and in, and you're going to push away. So elbows draw back, chest leads forward, leading with your heart, and then driving away from there. Good. We'll go about another 20 seconds or so. Excellent. Pushing out. Good. And just make sure that as you lower down, you feel like your body's like a moving plank. So nice rigid body, not letting those hips drop in. Maybe one more time, controlling down. It's our first of 3 rounds. If you miss this round, don't you worry, there's more time. And coming back up. Awesome. When you finish that last push-up, go ahead and come back up to standing. And on this next exercise, we're going to start to work some squatting. So if you feel strong in your squats, I'm going to show you with this little post here I have the help. So you can also like grab onto like the doorway of something, hold onto a countertop. And then when you're ready, we're going to send the hips back. But now we keep the eyes looking forward. We want to keep the chest as tall as we can. So working our squats next. Knees push out. Keep your heels planted as well as your big toes. Your whole foot should be pushing down into the floor. Down and up, using those arms as needed. But focus to drive through those legs as much as you can. So that downward force pushing straight down. Good. Final time. Breathing in as you lower back, breathing out as you stand up. Fantastic. All right, head back to that surface that you used for your push-up. And now we're going to work an elevated mountain climber. So for that elevated mountain climber, I place my hands underneath the shoulders. I walk the feet back. And then from here, as I breathe out, I'm going to pull my knee up, trying to make contact with that elbow or that forearm. Eyes looking down and forward so you have a nice neutral neck position. And then breathe out with that knee drive. Breathe in as you step it back. Fantastic. 10 seconds left. Keep those arms nice and straight. Good. Stomach drawn in. And everybody rest. Awesome. Coming up off the hands. And now our final exercise of this series is our seated row. So that long band, if you don't have a band to use, it's okay. You can just move through those shoulders as if you do. So sitting up nice and tall, I'm going to take the band, I'm going to put it around one foot. Depending on what style you have, I like to mine's pretty long, so I just like to roll it around my hands. And now I'm going to really emphasize how tall can I sit for my posture. Long arms to begin, reaching straight out, and then breathing out as I draw it back and in. Breathing in, reaching forward, breathing out, squeezing those elbows back. And I give a little rotation through the hands as well. Breathing in, palms down, breathing out, palms, drawing the elbows back, rotating the palms up. Good, a few more. More than a few. We've got another 20 seconds to practice this exercise. Really good motion for our posture. Good motion for those shoulder blades. Sometimes we get pretty stiff through those shoulders. Try to have a lot of motion through the head and neck. And 3, 2, 1, and everybody rest. Nice work. Anyone wearing those blood flow bands, go ahead and let the air out, or if you prefer to take them off. And we're going to take about a 30-second break from here, and then we're going to be back for round 2. So if you have a water glass nearby, go ahead and grab a little bit of water. And then whatever kind of weight you want to use for your second round of deadlifts, that's coming up next. All righty. A little longer than 30, so we're not rushing to get into position. Boop, boop, there's our moose dog. So find the weight you want to use. It's not the best angle. You're going to bring that weight, or if you have 2 smaller weights, I'll show it this time. You can hold the weights together right between your thighs. If you have 2 that aren't quite as comfortable to hold there, you can also hold them on the outside of the legs. But I'm going to show the sumo deadlift. So walking those feet out, squeeze those shoulders back, draw the belly in, and then when you're ready, knees push wide, chest bows forward, squeeze the glute stand all the way up. Breathing in, practicing that long spine position, and then breathing out. Very good. Controlling down, and then try to stand with some confidence. Drive through those legs. Squeeze the tush, squeeze those shoulders back as you stand tall, looking forward. Wonderful. 10 more seconds. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice consistent breath. And when you finish that next rep, use those same mechanics, set it down well. And our second exercise is back to that push-up station. You can also use like a wall or a doorway. So I'm gonna, these are strong enough to hold me, right? So I'm gonna push against my little frame here. And then when you're ready, if you're like against a wall, I just have my hands against the wall. I draw my elbows back and then I push away. So I don't want those hips to sink in. Go ahead and begin those push-ups. And the elbows tend to wing wide whenever I watch people do push-ups. So that's why I'm always talking about backing in, help protect those shoulders a bit more. Draw your stomach in as you lower down. Squeeze the tush as you push away. If you get to where you're like, I don't know if I can do another one, then just stay at the top of the push-up and hold that nice, strong, straight arm position. And 3, 2, 1, and resting there. Good job. Coming off the arms. Squatting is next. If you're someone that's more experienced with a squat and you want to hold any weights, you're welcome to hold a weight underneath the chin. If it felt good to hold on like we did last round, I would say keep holding on. Otherwise, this time I'm going to demo without holding on. So I've got my feet about hip width apart, slight toe out. And now as I send my hips back, I'm going to reach my arms straight out, pushing those knees wide, driving down through the legs and coming all the way up. Breathing in, knees push out, staying anchored into my feet, standing all the way up. Good, we'll take another 20 seconds. Just gonna see how we're all doing here. Yeah, great squats, Diane. Good, Christina. Nice and strong. Backing in, beautiful, and up. Draw that belly in, try to engage those small muscles of your pelvic floor as you lower down. Practice about another 10 seconds, 1 or 2 more reps. Back, 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 good. And final time if you're up for it. Wonderful. And rest. Good. Back to your push-up station, or you can even go a little bit lower if you want for those mountain climbers. Lower meaning like a lower surface to support on. So I find mountain climbers against the wall a little bit harder. I'm going to use the seat of my chair for my surface this time. Walking the feet back. Right over top of my dog. And then when you're ready, belly nice and strong, we're going to drive the knee up, pulling it towards the same side elbow, up and down. Breathing out, straight arms. Try not to have that swing side to side of the hips. So I want you to focus more on that stability through your hips and pelvis. Stability over speed. You can always get faster later, but that will tend to be a little bit harder on that low back if you're letting your hips swing around side to side. Maybe one more on each knee. And resting there. Good job. We go from that elevated mountain climber back down for our seated row. And you're welcome to sit on the ground for this with the legs out in front. Come to seated. We're going to place that band around the one foot. Sitting up nice and tall. Draw those shoulders back. Starting with those arms outstretched, palms down. And then when you're ready, we'll breathe out. Keeping that nice long neck, so not letting those shoulders raise in towards the ears, but rather reaching forward and then breathing out as you squeeze those elbows back. Fantastic. Halfway through, it's wonderful practice as well to pause with the hands against the chest, get a little bit more activation of those rhomboid muscles and those rotator cuff muscles. Right between the shoulder blades, squeeze them together, help hold that chest tall. Final time, in and squeeze and rest. Whew. All righty. Go ahead and stay in the chair for a moment. We're gonna do a little bit of stretching and then we're gonna come up for one more round. You can also do this stretch from standing. If you do prefer, you can stand up, but I'm gonna show it seated. We're gonna stretch our triceps. So let's start with your right arm. Sitting tall, raise your right hand up towards the sky. Bending that elbow like you're trying to scratch your back as you reach around. Chin in, eyes up, and then you're pulling that elbow back without, what's the word? Without like overarching your spine. You can stay here, pull that chin in and breathe. If you want to go deeper into the stretch, you'll bend and lean away from that side you're stretching. Lengthen through that side body. Breathing in as you sit tall. Breathing out as you side bend. Well, maybe one more. Keep that chin pulled in, out, and rest. Beautiful. Release those arms. Ooh, stiff here. And then we're going to do some flexion, raising those arms straight up in front. And then relax them back and down. Kind of push them back behind you. Breathing in, raise them up. And breathing out, push them back. Right at the sides. Push back, squeeze. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. Awesome. All right, let's stretch that second tricep. Still sitting tall. Now your left arm. Chin in as I raise that arm up. Bending that elbow, reach around. Pull it back. Eyes up, looking up and forward. We're going to go one more time through that series that we've just done twice. And then we have a final circuit where we're going to be down on the ground working our low back, some mobility work. If you want to add that side bend, go ahead and add it now. Side bending 2 to 3 times. And we're doing some glute bridge for our final series. And release those arms. All right, before we jump up for the last time, let's go ahead and just loosen up the neck a little bit. Some gentle neck circles. Okay, and then circle the head back. Reverse those circles the other way. Wonderful. Good. All right, when you're ready, make your way back up to standing. I want you to go and find the heaviest weight that you feel comfortable to pick up off the ground. If you want to hold one in each hand, that's great as well. But for this last set of deadlifts, it's kind of our best opportunity to pick up a little bit heavier weight. So kind of challenge our body with that stronger lift. All right, and I'm going to show you what it looks like if you hold a weight on each side of the body this time. So you're welcome to stick with what we call that sumo stance with the weight between the feet wide, or you can walk the feet in and have one weight on each side of the body. Before we start, standing tall and make sure we're nice and strong through the belly. So hips rock back, stomach engaged. And now with that little bend in the knee, I'm going to send my hips back, keep that spine nice and long, grab 1 or 2 weights. And then we're going to stand on up. We're going to practice this for 30 seconds. So long spine, chin in, looking down as you bow forward. Squeeze those glutes, standing all the way up. Wonderful. Breathing in, lower down. Breathing out, standing tall. Yeah. Try not to look to the side. I know I do that because I'm watching y'all. Halfway through. Knees out, hips back, control, beautiful control down. Good, ladies. And then straight up. Maybe one more time, nice and strong as you take it down. Good, holding it close, wonderful, standing up. And then as you set it down this last time, just clear the space, leave it down there. Very good. All right, head to your push-up station. Go back to my little upright. One hand underneath each shoulder. Walk those feet back, draw that stomach in. And then when you're ready, pulling those elbows in towards the sides, driving away. Hips nice and neutral, not letting them sink forward. Gravity tries to pull them down. So we got to use that midline. Hold them strong and try to squeeze your bum as you push away. Breathing in, squeezing those shoulders back, breathing out as you push away. 10 seconds left. If you need to, hold the top of the push-up and just breathe there, down and up. 3, 2, 1, and all done there. All right, last bit of squats. You want to hold a weight for your squats, you're welcome to it. You can hold it up at the shoulders or right underneath your chin. I'm going to show it holding on again this last time. So we set those feet about hip width apart. Got this supports beam here I can hold on to. And then as I sit back, knees push wide, using your arms as much or as little as you need. We'd like to see to get those hips below the knees if you can do it without pain. And you want to use your judgment, use your intuition, be able to identify, what's pain? Like as in your body's like, nope, don't do that, versus what's some stiffness that says like, hey, I haven't been through this range of motion in quite a while. A good sign is as you're moving, if it starts to feel better as you move, if it starts to feel worse from rep to rep, then that's your body talking to you. So listen to that. Maybe one more time. Sinking down. Good, Diane. You got it, Christina. All the way up. And rest from there. All right, just those mountain climbers to finish this circuit before we sit it on down for those seated row. So headed back to your push-up station or maybe a little bit lower surface. I'm going to try to use these support beams here. Walking those feet back. You can use an elevated surface. Stomach drawn in, and then when you're ready, draw the knee up. Try to breathe out as you pull the knee up. Yep. Once you know the motion, eyes forward, looking kind of right between your hands, wherever you're holding your arms. Fantastic. Halfway through, another 15 seconds. If those hips get tired, you can just stay upright, holding strong. Good. Maybe 1 or 2 more on each leg. Lift that knee up. Lift the foot and toes. And 3, 2, 1, and come on up. All right. Before you jump into the chair, let's just give a little bit of a rotation through the torso. Fantastic. And then when you're ready, now we'll move into that last set of seated row. You're welcome to sit in the chair, or if you want to make your way down to the floor, I'm going to do this last round seated on the ground. And we're just going to transition onto the floor anyway. Water glasses nearby. All right, so if you are on the ground, or even if you're in the chair, make a point to be right up on those sit bones. So those bones in your bum, sit up tall on those. From here, we're going to take that band, wrap it around that one foot. Wrap the hands around the band. Reach those arms straight out. And then when you're ready, you're going to pull those elbows back behind, rotating the palms to the sky, reach out, palms down. Good. You can totally close your eyes on this one. Just feel that mid-back move. Feel those shoulder blades moving forward as you reach forward. Feel them draw back as you pull back. 20 seconds left. You have that little pause in that back position, squeezing those elbows back, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Good. Make a nice gentle smile as you row. 1 or 2 more. Motion is lotion. Keep that body moving and take a pause. Great job. All right. The water glass is nearby. Let's grab a drink. And then those of you that are seated in the chair, go ahead and make your way down to the ground. We're going to be coming on to our back the last 10 minutes or so. I tried to light this area up today, but it did not work all that well. But we're doing the best we can. Alrighty. As you come on down, just slowly lower onto your back. We're going to start with a little bit of stretching and mobility for the hips and that lower back. So once you come onto your back, kind of roll your body to one side gently so that you can really tuck that shoulder blade underneath your body. And then I'll roll to the opposite side, pull that shoulder back so that you can just set your chest in a nice broad position. Next, we're going to windshield wiper through the feet and hips. So I'm going to walk my feet about the width of my hips. If you have a standard yoga mat, maybe about the width of your mat. And then our windshield wipers, lowering both knees towards one side, up and across, and the other. And I invite you just to kind of have your head nice and neutral, looking straight up. Breathe in and flow in here. Very good. And then once you've loosened up those hips a bit with some internal and external rotation, from here we're going to move into that double kneaded chest. So you're going to take both feet off the ground, hug one leg in at a time, and then you'll squeeze those legs in towards your chest and just give a little side to side rock of your low back. All right, and then once you loosen up that low back, we're going to return the feet back to your mat, keeping the knees bent, feet flat on the ground. And now we're going to start to work our abdominal draw. So this is that exercise where you want to imagine you have like a little whoopee cushion or a small balloon underneath your low back, okay? And what we're going to practice is drawing that belly in and pushing your low back into the floor. So I simply just pull the belly in, push that low back flat, and now see if you can find the engagement of those small muscles of your pelvic floor. Engaging all those muscles, kind of pulling that pelvic floor up and in. Breathing as you hold that low back, pushing the floor. And anytime you're ready, go ahead and relax there. Let those hips roll back forward. And we're going to practice that for about another 30 seconds. Draw the belly in, push that low back flat. If it feels pretty confident to hold that low back flat, you've been doing this with me for a little while, we're going to go ahead and rest before we add this. But when you're ready, we've done heel slides before, but today we're going to work a little bit of a march. So as I pull that low back into the floor, now I'm going to lift my right leg off the ground, lift it up, set it down, and then my left leg off the ground, lift it up, set it down. And your whole goal as you lift the leg is to not let the hips or that low back roll away. So I want to maintain contact, belly's drawn in. Do one more on each leg if you're choosing this option, and then go ahead and rest. Alrighty, just loosen up there for a second. Next, in our last exercise that we'll be practicing here is going to be our glute bridge. So I have my hands to the side so you can see a little bit better. It's going to start the same as what we just practiced. You're going to draw the belly in, roll the hips back, push that low back flat, and now you're going to push into the soles of your feet as you begin to raise your hips up off the ground, like one segment at a time, starting to come up into a gentle bridge. Don't try to go as high as you can on this first set. Instead, start to slowly lower back down, one segment at a time, just nice and controlled here. We're going to have a whole minute to practice this. Rest those hips on the ground, and then from there, taking it into your second set, pushing through the heels as well as the big toe. And as those hips come a little bit higher, notice that head and neck, draw that chin in. And I want you to kind of find your own pattern here. We got another 30 seconds to practice. Focus also on the knees staying wide, pushing those knees out. I want you to avoid any kind of pinching sensation. Sometimes we'll feel a pinch in that lower spine, that low back. Sometimes folks will feel a pinch on the front of the hips. So we'd like to avoid that pinching sensation. Good. And one more time, hips come up, squeeze that booty. So we're trying to wake up those muscles of the back side of the body, and then rest all the way down. And return to that double kneaded chest, hugging both legs in. Good. That's set one. We're gonna do it one more time, friends. Rotating side to side. This is a fantastic little series to do, or you could pick any of these exercises when you first wake up in the morning and you're still lying in bed, especially this double kneaded chest or a couple glute bridges, just help get some good movement there. All right, when you're ready, knees stay bent, putting the feet back on the ground. And as we go into that abdominal draw, I'm just going to be working the march of the legs from the start. So draw that belly in, push that low back flat. And now if that's hard, don't worry, just hold it there. And as long as you can, then rest. Again, if you feel strong there, then we'll add the march. So I'm pulling that belly in and I'm squeezing the small little muscles of that pelvic floor, breathing as you engage those muscles. It's very common that individuals will tend to start to hold their breath when they're first starting to learn how to activate these muscles of that lower abdomen, that lower core. So we're going to spend about another 20 seconds here, resting anytime you need. If you can hold it the whole time, we're going to have a short rest coming up next before our final set of glute bridge. Good, smooth breathing. And 2, 1, and pausing there. Ah, fantastic. Return to a little windshield wiper, a little modified windshield wiper, knees side to side with the feet still flat on the ground, or I see some of you went into that double kneaded chest. That works as well. All right. And then when you're ready with that little loosener up, come back into that glute bridge position. This time I'm going to rest my hands right in the front of my hips. Reposition my head. I'm going to lift my head up, draw that chin down so I'm not overarching that neck. And then from here, here's our final practice of these glute bridges. Raising up one segment at a time and coming down one segment at a time. You're welcome to move a little bit faster on this second round if you want more of a pulse action, a little bit more engagement. Or if you're a little bit stiff in those lower spine, then stay slow, stay in control. Good. As the hips come up, imagine lengthening through that lower back, avoiding those pinching sensations, breathing in as you lower, breathing out as you rise up. Trying to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Wonderful. 15 seconds left. Waking up those hamstrings, waking up that booty. You want to keep those muscles active. When you finish that last bridge, go ahead and rest. Ah, wonderful. All right. If that double kneaded chest felt good, and if you'd like to go deeper into that twist, you can bring your arms out to the side and then take it into the 2-knee twist where both legs come to one side. And I'm going to turn my head, look over the other shoulder, and then nice and gradual, sweep the legs up and then bring the legs to the other side as you turn the head, look over that other shoulder. Ah, good. Maybe 2 or 3 times each side. Fantastic. Balance yourself out on each side and then go ahead and place the feet flat back on the ground. Glute stretch is next. Take your right leg, slide the heel out so that you extend that right leg flat on the ground. And then we're going to pick up that left leg, interlace the hands in front of the shin, hug that leg in, pulling that knee towards the opposite shoulder to start. And then we're going to start to invite that knee of that left leg over towards the right side. You can use just that right hand, pull it across, and we're trying to lengthen up through this hip here. You're welcome to take your left hand, maybe just set it down like at a 90-degree angle, get a little opening through that chest. One more breath here. And go ahead and release. Good job. Set it on down. And now we'll switch sides. You'll slide that left foot back up. Slide that right foot out. Interlace the hands in front of that right knee. Hug that leg in towards the right shoulder to begin. And then gradually pull it across towards that left shoulder. Feel that outer opening on that right hip. And then just some nice big breaths here. Totally wonderful if your body wants to let a little sigh out, little vocal noise. That noise is good for that nervous system. Just helps that system to settle in, come out of that stress mode. When you're ready, go ahead and release. Alrighty. If you can, if you ever stretch your right leg, roll onto your left side. I'm going to spin around so I don't turn my back to you. But we're going to look to stretch the quads here. This is one of our last stretches before we finish on our back. So I'm going to bend my elbow, prop myself up on my forearm, and now I'm going to look to bend that top knee, grabbing for that foot, and then pull the shoulder back, pull the heel towards the glute, and drive that thigh straight back. If it's tough for you, if you can't quite grab that foot, the band that you might have been using earlier on is a great little tool. You can use my band and put it around my foot, and then I can grab that. Otherwise, about 10 more seconds. Pulling that foot back. Also a good stretch to do in the morning or before nighttime when you're in the bed. Coming out on the couch if it's hard to get on the ground. And release. Good. Once you finish that side, let's swing around, and same thing on the other side. Propping up, grabbing that foot, pulling it on back. We oftentimes work for time in these sessions, but if you're stretching on your own, it's also a great exercise just to use with your breathing. So breathing about 5 deep breaths on each side can also kind of help to calm your body, almost like a little bit of like some movement meditation with your body as you stretch and breathe. Being intentional and like noticing what your mind is thinking about. Try to just calm the mind, tune into that breath, tune into your body. And when you're done, go ahead and release that foot. Roll onto your back for one final time. Draw those shoulders back underneath the body. And now we're going to do, started calling it our good morning stretch earlier. So we're going to raise those arms up to overhead. Oh, Moose is going to give us a good stretch here too. Try to stretch as long as you can from the tops of your fingers to the bottoms of your feet. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then go ahead and start to circle those arms down to the sides, palms up towards the sky. And I invite you to go ahead and take one hand onto the area of your heart, other hand onto the area of your belly. And just close the eyes and just take a moment to be still. Feel the rise and fall of your stomach and your chest. See if you can notice your heart beating. Just remember all the little miracles that your body handles for you every moment of the day. It keeps your heart beating, keeps your body breathing. All your organs are running all their processes. It's really common. We get very critical of our bodies. We can judge our bodies on what we aren't able to do maybe as well as we'd like to. So try to send your body some love, send your body some gratitude and grace. If there's anything you want to communicate to your body, anything you want to apologize for, any kind of harsh criticism, and try to treat your body like a friend. All right, friends, take as long as you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. Thanks so much for moving with me today. Appreciate you greatly. Those of you that are on the ground, take your time. You just roll over to one side and look forward to moving with you next time. Finish your water. Find some vegetables that you can enjoy this weekend. And remember, life is meant to be enjoyed. So take some time and do something fun. Talk to you soon.